Shannon Smith. Originally from Pontotoc, Mississippi. Graduated from there in 2005. Went on to play college baseball, and I kind of was in the middle of a transition between getting finished playing ball and trying to decide if I wanted to continue pursuing baseball at a professional level, or if I wanted to get into the coaching ranks. And I got a call during Christmas from my high school coach, and he said that he had a spot open for me if I want to come back to Pontotoc and coach junior high for him there. And so I did. I was a substitute teacher, full-time substitute at Pontotoc, and coached junior high and volunteered for the high school without pay and just coached that spring. And my high school coach worked with the athletic director here at a previous school, and he called, our current athletic director here called my high school coach and asked if he knew any young coaches looking for a job, and they were trying to hire a young baseball coach. And so he brought me in one day. He said, I want you to go to Baldwyn and talk to them, and they're interested in finding a new coach and see what you think about it. So I drove to Baldwyn. I sat down and talked with Coach McKay, who was our athletic director at the time, and we talked for about 30 minutes or so, and I get in the truck and I'm headed back home. I've been gone for 10 minutes and my phone rings since Baldwyn calling me back, asking, they decided they wanted me, do I want the job? So I took that time on the drive home. I told them I need some time to think about it. I had some other options to go pursue, and but at the end of going to a couple more interviews at different schools, I really felt at home here at Baldwyn. So I ultimately came here thinking that's where I was going to get started at, and hopefully move to a larger school someday. And 10 years later, I'm still here. So Baldwyn has, when I told people from in Pontotoc and outside the community of Baldwyn that I was going to take a job at Baldwyn, a lot of people questioned me, like, are you sure you want to go to Baldwyn? Why Baldwyn? And I really didn't have an answer. I went home and prayed about, is this the right fit for me? And something just felt right. I mean, I felt comfortable the first time I came. I came to a summer game over the summer, watched the team play in a summer game, and I didn't know anybody here. I didn't have a friend here. I had no ties, but something just kept telling me, go to Baldwyn. That's going to be for me. And after my time here, it took about 2 years to realize, hey, this is a special place. And I tell people that all the time. We call this a hidden gem in North Mississippi. It's a small school, really tight-knit community. We have our first home game here Friday night. There'll be tons of people. In fact, there'll be at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, people will be here putting up their chairs, lining them up for the 7 o'clock varsity game on Friday. So the community is real supportive. The administration has been great. I mean, you see, we didn't have a lot when I started here, and I've kind of spent time in the community, building relationships, trying to raise money, and everything we've tried to build and ask for, we've built it pretty quickly and created a really nice facility here. And the support from this community, they love sports. The Friday nights at football, the basketball gym's packed. So it's a small community, and they get out and support us. So it's really a fun place to coach. My style has changed over the years. I got here, I was 24 years old. The program was kind of laid back, so to speak. Players weren't very disciplined when I took over. I mean, my first couple years, and players come back, they still come back and visit, and they think I'm a softie now. They say, you're a lot different now coaching. And I say it was 2 reasons. One, I've gotten older and smarter, and I've learned how to coach. I tell those guys that I coached here the first couple of years, I said I didn't know how to coach then. I knew the game, I knew a lot about baseball, but I didn't know a lot about coaching. One thing is I was really, really hard on some things, had to clean up discipline issues and things like that. And now they come back and see me coaching, and they think, Coach, you've calmed down, you've mellowed out. And I said, well, I've gotten older and smarter, know how to coach, know how to handle different situations. And also the players now, because of you guys that came before them, they know what to expect out of me. So it kind of has taken care of itself throughout the years. We motivate each other. We talk about being energy givers and not vampires, because we talk about vampires suck the energy out of people, and we try to be energy givers, and we play the game with a lot of energy. I think you'll see this at practice today. We run around, we're moving at all times, just tons of energy from our players. We like to stay motivated. I think because of our energy and our effort, we've won some games probably against teams that were a little more talented than us, but just our edge and the way we hustle and play the game really hard, I think that's the way we motivate each other, is just being tough and playing the game 100% as soon as you step across those lines. So we talk about being a dirtbag. If you look that up, dirtbag, I make the team Google it before every season. Dirtbag is in baseball. If you look up the definition of dirtbag and baseball together on Google, type in dirtbag, baseball. Then there comes up a definition talking about being a team player, willing to sacrifice himself for the betterment of the team. And I actually have little dog tag chains that say dirtbag on them. I give those out to players throughout the season who I think have really fit that model for us. And so far I've only given out one chain this year. And this is a really good team that we have this year. And so they really try to stay motivated. When I gave that one out last week, a lot of players' eyes got big. They try to do things, play the game selfishly, be a great teammate, play the game hard in order to try to get one of those dog tag chains. It's like a little, like the Army wears a dog tag, and it says dirtbag on it. And they really try to stay motivated to get one of those, but I don't give those out just to anybody. So you really have to fit that role in that example that we talk about.
It's a new day at MaxxSouth. We are excited to share some great news. In our continued effort to support Mississippi businesses, MaxxSouth is now offering local advertising support. Through high-quality programming, we combine traditional television and premium digital advertising, allowing your multimedia campaign to reach your targeted audience at any time on any device. Call MaxxSouth Media Sales today at 662-701-8628.
So during the off season, we have some expectations from we got what we call our baseball only guys, which is just a few of them. And then at a small school like this, most of these athletes at this school play multiple sports. And I'm big on kids playing multiple sports. A lot of times a college coach calls me recruiting a kid. They want to know, does he play football? Does he play basketball? And a lot of times those college coaches want players that have played multiple sports because, like you say, that they learn stuff, different things at different sports. I think football is a really great sport for our kids to play. I really encourage ours to play football because I think it teaches that toughness that we try to instill over here when they come across to play baseball for us. In fact, the kid that I just gave the dirtbag chain to this year already, he was a really good football player, I think all division in football. But 2 years ago, I got a call from the football coach that said, hey, what's going on with Hunter? He's talking about quitting and wants to focus on baseball. So I gave Hunter a call and I said, I want you do what you need to do, but I want you to consider sticking with football. And then he told the team the other day that, you know, he went on and continued to played through his senior year of football, and he really is glad that I kind of encouraged him to play football. So I encouraged them to play other sports. I love football for their toughness, and like you say, basketball really keeps them in shape, running up and down the floor. So my best pitcher this year just got out of the gym for basketball, and I know his legs are under him because he's been running so much. So I don't feel concerned running him out on the mound for 5 or 6 innings. I feel like his legs are going to be strong, and he's going to be able to hold up for us. Everybody's arm should feel fresh. It's been a while.
Is this the real coach next to you?
This is the real man. He's the head man in charge. He makes the lineup. Who you going to go with? Colin? Okay, that sounds like a good one to me. That's who we'll go with. All right, back it up in the long toss. Colin, you're starting tomorrow. So our team attributes, I really think we're leaning towards, we're really focused. This is the most focused group of kids I've ever had. And I've never been able to say this about a team. 4 weeks in, we haven't had a bad practice. So, I mean, I tell the guys, it's like I'm a broken record. At the end of practice, we gather and talk about how things went that day. And I just keep telling them, keep doing what you're doing. And in years past, it's usually a day or two thrown in the mix where I'm like, guys, we had a terrible day. You know, we got to regroup. And I haven't had to do this with this group. So I think my biggest attribute with this team is just the leadership and focus that we have. I mean, I've seen on their own meet together as a team after practice. Some of what we call some of our leaders kind of step in and have a meeting, and really great leadership. And it's really odd because we have so many sophomores starting for us this year. We have a really young team, but we have the most focused team I've ever had in 10 years. So.
Logan, Lucy got a triangle today, boy. Colin. Yeah.
Challenges this year. Yeah, we're going to face a lot of challenges. One is we're the only team in the state of Mississippi, or only division in the state of Mississippi, that has 7 teams in its district this year. Of the 7 teams in our division, there are six college pitching signees. So anytime at a 2A division, when you have to beat 6 college arms, that always makes things difficult. Also, along with that, our pitching is maybe where we're going to struggle some this year. We're going to have a couple guys I'm looking to step up for us. We do have 2 really good arms, and we are looking for that 3rd guy to step up, and that's going to be a big challenge for us this year, is finding out who's going to step up for us on the mound. But yeah, big challenge. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we're locked in and focused, because this could possibly be the toughest division I've ever coached against. Last season, I honestly wasn't expecting us to have a tremendous amount of success. I have a young team, all those sophomores that I mentioned that are starting this year. They also were starters as freshmen last year. I think during the playoffs last year, we started 5 freshmen and an 8th grader, and we won a playoff series. We finished 2nd place in our division. We went 8-2 in division. The team that won the state championship is who beat us the 2 games of division play. So we had a really successful year last year. And I think expectations are kind of high coming into this season because of the success we had last year. I'm hoping we're not too focused on how well we did last year, because we were in 1A. We moved up to 2A, and I talked about how tough this division's going to be. And so I hope we didn't overachieve last year, and with anticipation for us to be much better this year. But I do feel like we could have a successful season this year. We're going to have a successful season, just because I can see how we're locked in and focused. But it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a much bigger challenge this year than last season was. Off last year's season, we graduated 1 senior. You know, I told you previously we had 6 freshmen and an 8th grader starting. I feel good that those kids last year had to play at such a young age. Now I feel like they've grown over the summer. We've been in the weight room. They've lifted weights, got stronger. Their bodies have developed better. Also, that extra year of experience, plus making that run in the playoffs last year, is going to be valuable for us moving forward with this tough division that we're playing in. So we got 8 of our 9 back from last year's starting lineup into this year, and I think that experience that they gained last year playing and having to play at varsity at such a young age is going to help us moving forward for the next couple years to come. Yeah, so we're kind of known for our base running, bunt and small ball. Like we talked about, we're young and kind of smaller kids. We don't hit a lot of home runs, because as you get older, maybe by those guys, when they get to be seniors, they may be bigger and stronger, and we start playing wall ball or trying to shoot the gaps. But right now, man, we opened up the season with Faulkner, and the first 3 kids in the lineup we bunted. We had a drag bunt single, we stole 2nd, we bunted him to 3rd, and then we bunted the run in. So yeah, we like to play small ball. We hit and run, we bunt a lot. I mean, we spend a whole station of bunts during practice. We have 5 bunt stations set up, and we'll spend 30 minutes of nothing but bunting. We like to put pressure on people. We like to lay bunts down and create chaos, make as many people on the defense have to touch the ball and do something with it. So yeah, that's kind of our makeup and how we go about it. We run the bases super aggressively, and we like to bunt and run and put pressure on people. We love to try to bunt with a runner on first and send him from 1st to 3rd. Just any way we can apply pressure and make the defense make a mistake. And then I think if you do that early in the game, you know, as you get a base hit or something, we really talk about how hard we get out of the box, how hard we run the bases, and we spend probably more time at practice focused on base running than most teams, I would say, do, because that's one thing we take a lot of pride in, is how hard we run the bases, how smart we run the bases, and just putting pressure on people. And I think once you start to do that early in a game, by the time the 3rd, 4th, 5th inning roll around, defenses realize how you're approaching your aggressiveness, how aggressive you are. I think they start trying to get in a hurry to make the play, and then in return they start to make some errors and bobble some balls. And I think that pressure just starts to create a domino effect.
Go Trey, go Trey, go Trey, go Trey, go Trey, go Trey on the back.
Faulkner last week, they were beating us 5-3 in the 5th inning, and then we just kept pecking away, putting some bunts down, stealing a couple bags, and then all of a sudden we put up a 7-run inning in the 7th inning, and I think all that pressure finally got to them, and they just couldn't handle it anymore at that point. So, yeah, we like to put a lot of pressure on people. That's our biggest thing, and we talk about that every day. So what inspires me to be a coach is, a lot of people talk about winning games and this and that, but we talk about here, by the time they graduate here, we hope they are good baseball players, but when they leave, we hope they're great husbands, great fathers, and great businessmen or whatever they're doing. I love when kids move on from us and they go out into the real world and they call back, and I've got a couple now that are engineers, I've got a couple that have gone on to be nurses. We try to raise great young men so that whenever they leave here, they're better at something else other than just playing baseball. We spend a lot of time talking to our players about that. We hold them accountable, give them a lot of responsibilities. We make them do field work and take pride in they each have a job that they have to do after practice every day. So we try to teach things other than the game of baseball, and ultimately that's our biggest goal, is to take good baseball players and help mold them into great men.
Yes, everywhere. If his knees don't drop, we're not going no more. Y'all done a poor job of it. Sometimes you go and it ain't even a dirt ball. He's got to drop to block the ball.
Failures are going to happen in baseball and in life. Things are not always going to be easy. We talk about that. I think baseball is one of the best sports to teach you how to deal with failure in life, because at the end of the day, baseball is a failure sport. And what I mean by that is, if you can go 3 for 10 at the plate for the rest of your career, you'd be making millions of dollars. If you can consistently stay from high school, go 3 out of 10 and make it to college, if you continue being successful 3 out of 10 in college, you're going to make it on to the next level. And then when you get to the next level and playing professional baseball, 3 out of 10 is considered Hall of Fame numbers. That's 300 batting average. Well, I use that. So 70% of the time you're failing, but you're considered great. If you can make it through a high school, through 4 or 5 years of playing high school baseball, and you learn by the end of it that failure comes, and you learn to get mentally stronger and deal with failure. So I think that helps set people up in life for when things get tough and things get hard. Yeah. Nick Saban is a big role model of mine. I mean, obviously he's had a lot of success throughout the years. If you followed him everywhere he's been successful. I guess you could argue that he didn't do well in the NFL, but he even seems to see that his players have a lot of respect for him and the way he goes about things. So I read tons of Nick Saban books. I love his style of coaching, the way he handles things. He's very detail organized. He thinks all the little things matter. He doesn't skip out on things that may be too small. He thinks that you got to do everything right. And you see him in a game and they're up 40 points with a minute left, and he's really just getting on a kid. And so to some people may think that, well, that looks bad. They have such a big lead. He should just relax a little bit. But over the years of coaching, I've learned that the minute you relax and let them just get through by going through the motions, that they start to develop bad habits. And when you're trying to win baseball games against great teams, you have to be able to play a full 7 innings and never give in. Perfect example of that, last year we were in the playoffs against Myrtle. They had a left-handed pitcher. He threw a no-hitter against us in the regular season. And we knew we had to we met up with them again in the playoffs here. It was the 7th inning. They were beating us 7-1. And it was the bottom of the 7th, and we just kept fighting, and we finally got to him, and we ended up walking off and winning that game 8-7 after the guy no-hit us earlier in the year and really shoved it for 7 innings against 6 innings here, and that's kind of part of our team. We never give in and keep battling to the last out's made. So, yeah, that kind of resembles kind of the way Nick Saban coaches as well.
Never quit.
It was really awesome, man. We could have easily just given in because the guy had already no-hit us early in the year, and for 6 innings here, only giving up a run, and we just scored 7 runs in the 7th inning to win that game in the playoffs last year. Game day. Game day's fun. We spend a lot of time. We love games, man. We get excited about games. I try to have everything set up and ready when they get out of class and come over. We have the music playing. We have BP set up. Man, they take a phone and get on our Facebook page and go live and walk around the field and let the fans see them hitting batting practice. And Man, we just try to make it as fun as possible, man. If we're not having fun, we don't need to be out here. Before we leave to start a game, we talk, and I talk to the players, go through our routine of what we're going to do, what to expect, talk about the other team. But the last thing I try to tell them is, at the end of the day, y'all go have fun, and whatever happens, happens. And that's kind of how we play the game.
Nice job. Nice job. Communication is key. Don't be afraid to talk.
A good high school baseball coach, a guy that genuinely cares about his players, a guy who tries to teach players more than the game of baseball. I think a good high school coach develops relationships outside of baseball with their players, someone that they can lean on and call even after they've graduated and moved on.
Hey, Bear Cats on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bear Cats!
And I hope that by the time these kids have spent 4 or 5 years with me, that when they move on after playing baseball for me, that they know that they could call me anytime and that I'll always be there for them.